It started with a whisper, the kind that spreads through Atlanta faster than wildfire. A rumor so wild, so unbelievable, that even the most diehard fans of love and hip-hop, Atlanta had to double-check their screens to make sure they weren't being trolled. Kirk Frostius, that Kirk Frost was accused of secretly writing wedding vows to Jasmine Washington. Not just some casual words scribbled in a notebook, but full-blown, heartfelt promises of forever. And if that wasn't enough, to leave fans clutching their pearls, those vows somehow leaked online. Screenshots began circulating on social media, and within hours, hashtags like hashtag Kirk and Jasmine and hashtag RASHEEDA React trended worldwide. But the biggest shock wasn't the vows themselves, it was Rasheeda's mother, Ms. Shirlene, who allegedly reacted live to the drama in real time. Viewers claim she didn't hold back. She spoke raw, unfiltered, and loud, putting Kirk and Jasmine on blast in front of thousands tuning in. Imagine the betrayal. For years, Rasheeda fought to hold her marriage together, standing by Kirk through every storm, every scandal. Now, fans were forced to ask, was this the ultimate humiliation? Had Kirk crossed a line that even Rasheeda's iron patience could never forgive? And Jasmine, the woman at the center of it all, was suddenly painted as more than just the other woman. In these vows, she was promised loyalty, love, and a future. A future that clearly didn't include Rasheeda. The streets are buzzing. Fans are shocked. Emotions ran high. The Frost family was left divided. And everyone wants to know, how did this happen? Who leaked the vows? And most importantly, how will Rasheeda respond when her own mother has already declared war on Kirk and Jasmine for the world to see? This isn't just reality TV drama. This is chaos, heartbreak, and betrayal playing out for millions to watch. The chaos began the moment those vows hit the internet. It wasn't some blurry rumor or a fabricated screenshot. These words had rhythm, detail, and raw emotion, the kind Kirk had never even shown in his marriage to Rasheeda. Fans couldn't believe it. In those vows, he called Jasmine his peace in the storm, his truth when the world was filled with lies, and even promised her that one day they would stand together without shame. The comments sections under every blog lit up instantly. How could he do Rasheeda like this? One fan wrote. Another chimed in, this can't be fake. He literally signed it at the bottom. The signature alone made jaws drop, because if true, Kirk hadn't just slipped, he had planned, he had confessed, and he had put it on paper. Rasheeda's mother, Ms. Shirlene, was already live on Instagram when the story broke. Thousands joined her broadcast within minutes, waiting to see if she'd ignore it or address it, but ignoring was never in her nature. Her voice cracked through the screen like thunder. I told y'all from the beginning, that man don't deserve my daughter, she snapped. And now y'all see it in writing. Vows to Jasmine. Vows. Where are the vows to his wife of 20+ years? Where are the vows to his children? The chat exploded with heart emojis, clapping hands, and fire icons. Fans were laughing, crying, and typing in all caps. They weren't just watching a family scandal, they were part of it, feeding the flames with every comment. Meanwhile, Rasheeda was quiet. Too quiet. She hadn't posted, hadn't commented, hadn't gone live. The silence became a statement in itself. Some fans speculated she was devastated and couldn't face the world, while others whispered that maybe she knew all along. But one thing was certain, her silence gave Jasmine the spotlight, and Jasmine wasn't about to waste it. Late that night, Jasmine posted a single picture to her Instagram story. It wasn't flashy, just a dimly lit table, 2 champagne glasses, and a caption, "Forever ain't a secret when it's real." The internet erupted again. Was this confirmation? Was she taunting Rasheeda, or was she just playing into the rumors for clout? The ambiguity made it worse. Every gossip page picked it up, dissecting the photo like it was evidence in a high-profile case. The Frost household, insiders claimed, was a war zone. Rasheeda confronted Kirk privately, but word leaked fast that it wasn't just hairs, it was shouting, accusations, and even the sound of glass breaking. Neighbors allegedly heard Rasheeda scream, "After everything I stood by you through, this is how you repay me." Kirk, defensive but cornered, was said to be pleading, "It's not what it looks like. Those weren't for her. They were just lyrics. You know I write things down." But Rasheeda wasn't buying it. Lyrics? With her name? With your initials? With promises you never even gave me? She shot back. The argument was so heated that one of their children, Carter, reportedly tried to intervene, only to be sent back upstairs in tears. By the next morning, the blogs had new fuel. Someone close to Jasmine leaked that Kirk had written the vows months ago during a private getaway. The phrase private getaway sent shockwaves, suggesting that not only were the vows real, but there had been a secret trip involved. Fans began pulling receipts, analyzing Jasmine's past vacation posts. One eagle-eyed follower dug up an old beach photo Jasmine had posted, zooming in to reveal what looked like a man's reflection in her sunglasses. "That's Kirk. I know that bald head anywhere," the fan wrote, and suddenly the picture went viral again. The theory was locked. Kirk and Jasmine had been sneaking off while Rasheeda was managing the pressed boutique, and the vows were his guilty souvenir. As pressure mounted, Ms. Shirlene doubled down. She went live again, this time, calling out Kirk by name. "You broke this family, Kirk. You broke it the day you let temptation into your house. And now you want to stand up somewhere writing vows like you young and free. You're a husband. You're a father. You're supposed to be better than this." Her voice cracked with real pain, and fans couldn't help but feel for her. "She's hurting like it's her marriage," one commenter wrote. Another added, "She's protecting her daughter because Kirk never did." The narrative shifted from just husband and wife drama to a full-on family betrayal that spanned generations. Jasmine, however, was unfazed. If anything, she seemed emboldened. She began liking shady tweets from fans calling her the real Mrs. Frost and the one Kirk truly loves. Screenshots of her likes spread like wildfire. It was as if she was confirming her place in the chaos without saying a word. This only fueled Rasheeda's fans, who flooded Jasmine's comments with snakes, broken hearts, and demands for her to back off. "You'll never be Rasheeda," one fan wrote. "He's only using you until he gets bored again." But Jasmine clapped back in a rare comment. "Don't be mad at me for receiving what was meant for me." That single reply sent shockwaves. Was she claiming Kirk was hers all along? By midweek, the drama was no longer confined to social media. Media outlets picked it up, and entertainment shows began running the story as if it were breaking news. Pundits debated whether Rasheeda would finally file for divorce, whether Jasmine was manipulating the situation, and whether Kirk was simply addicted to scandal. Even castmates from Love and Hip Hop Atlanta began weighing in. Carly Red, never one to stay quiet, posted a cryptic tweet, "A leopard never changes its spots." Fans immediately interpreted it as shade toward Kirk. Young Jock chimed in during his radio show, laughing, "Man, I told y'all Kirk was the messiest man in Atlanta. Now it's vows. He writing vows to the side chick. Boy, please." Through all of this, Rasheeda's silence grew heavier. Her fans begged for her to speak, to post, to do something, but when she finally did, it wasn't what anyone expected. She uploaded a picture of herself in full glam. No caption, no explanation, just her, flawless and Within minutes, the comments filled with support. "This is how you boss up," one wrote. "Silent strength," another added. Yet behind the scenes, insiders whispered that her strength was just a mask, that she was hurting, broken, and considering a move nobody thought she'd make. Separation, and then came the twist nobody saw coming. An anonymous source leaked audio allegedly from a phone call between Kirk and Jasmine. In the clip, a man, sounding very much like Kirk's voice, whispered, "When the time is right, I'll leave. You know these vows are just the beginning." Jasmine's voice replied softly, "I've waited this long. I'll keep waiting." The clip spread like wildfire. Fans were outraged. "He really played Rasheeda this whole time," one person tweeted. "He planned to leave her." The betrayal felt deeper, sharper, undeniable. This audio clip lit a fuse under Rasheeda's family. Ms. Shirlene was seen storming into the Frost home that very night, reportedly demanding Kirk pack his bags. Neighbors claimed they heard her shouting, "You've embarrassed this family for the last time." Kirk tried to defend himself, insisting the audio was edited and taken out of context. But the damage was done. The vows, the photo, the getaway. The audio, it was a mountain of evidence that painted Kirk as a man with one foot out the door and his heart tangled with Jasmine. Fans, too, were divided. Some sided with Rasheeda completely, urging her to choose herself and leave the mess behind. Others, shockingly, began rooting for Jasmine, arguing that maybe she and Kirk truly did belong together. The debate raged on, pulling in voices from every corner of the fandom. It wasn't just gossip anymore. It was a cultural moment, a scandal with layers so thick that nobody could look away. And just when it seemed the dust might settle, Another bombshell landed. An alleged handwritten note from Kirk to Jasmine surfaced online, matching the handwriting of the vows. In it, he supposedly promised her a ring, a future, and a wedding under the stars. The note ended with the chilling words, "Patience, my love. Patience." The internet exploded again. Fans couldn't decide if it was real, fake, or planted by someone to stir the pot even further. But one thing was clear: the scandal was only getting deeper, and the Frost family wasn't anywhere close to finding peace. The leaked audio clip was still reverberating across the internet when the handwritten note surfaced. And the timing made it feel like a coordinated takedown of Kirk Frost's carefully crafted facade. Bloggers dissected the note, zooming into every swirl and curve of the penmanship, comparing it to Kirk's old signatures on contracts, posters, even signed merch. The verdict was swift. It matched. Fans were screaming in the comments, "This ain't Photoshop, this is the real deal," while others muttered, "He's sloppy for leaving a trail like this." For Rasheeda, it was another dagger to the chest. A husband who once swore he'd never embarrass her in public again had now become the center of the loudest scandal the city had seen in years. Inside the Frost home, tensions reached a boiling point. Rasheeda reportedly locked herself in the bedroom for hours, refusing to even look at Kirk. When she finally emerged, her eyes were red, her voice shaking but strong. "Do you know what you've done to me? To our kids? To my mama? You let the whole world laugh at us again," she spat, her voice breaking mid-sentence. Kirk, visibly exhausted, tried to keep his composure. "Babe, listen, this ain't what it looks like. People out there got agendas. They twisting everything. The vows, the note, the audio, they're setting me up." Rasheeda's reply was ice cold. "You're the only one who set yourself up." Word spread fast that Rasheeda had called in her inner circle for support. Carly Red was seen visiting the house, emerging hours later, looking visibly shaken but refusing to speak to reporters. "I can't say nothing," she mumbled before speeding off. But fans knew Carly too well. If she was staying silent, it meant the tea inside was piping hot. Young Jock, on his radio show, laughed nervously when the topic came up. "Look man, all I'ma say is, if you writing vows to another woman while you still married, who, you asking for the smoke?" His co-hosts chuckled, but the undertone was serious. The Atlanta streets were buzzing with one question. Was this the end of Kirk and Rasheeda? Meanwhile, Jasmine was moving with a confidence that enraged fans even more. Instead of hiding, she posted a cryptic boomerang of her sipping champagne, the caption reading, "Patience pays off." Within minutes, her comments were flooded with backlash. "Girl, you're delusional," one fan wrote. Another said, "This ain't cute. You ruining a whole family." But amid the hate, there were defenders. "She not ruining nothing, Kirk made his choice," one comment read. Others called her a victim of Kirk's lies, suggesting he had strung both women along. The divide in the fanbase was growing uglier by the hour. Then came the twist that nobody expected: a live stream from Rasheeda's mother, Ms. Shirley, with Rasheeda quietly sitting beside her. Fans poured into the chat, the numbers skyrocketing as word spread. Shirlene's voice was fiery as ever. "Y'all see what this man done put my daughter through? And Jasmine, if you watching this, baby, understand something. You'll never get respect building your happiness on another woman's pain. Never." The chat exploded with support, but what shook fans most was Rasheeda's expression. She wasn't yelling, she wasn't crying, she was calm, almost detached. When she finally spoke, her words were measured. "I ain't here to fight nobody. I'm here to protect my peace. Kirk know what he did. I don't need to prove nothing to y'all." It was the quiet strength fans both admired and feared, because it often meant Rasheeda was ready to make drastic moves. Behind the scenes, insiders whispered that Rasheeda had already contacted a lawyer. Not just for divorce, but for full financial review of their assets. The thought of a messy split had fans salivating and dreading at the same time. Would the empire they built together, restaurants, boutiques, music catalogs, be torn apart in court? Would Rasheeda finally reclaim her independence once and for all? Or would Kirk somehow charm his way back into forgiveness as he had done so many times before? As if things weren't messy enough, a new bombshell dropped. An anonymous account released blurry footage of what appeared to be Kirk and Jasmine at a candlelit table in a small lounge. The timestamp suggested it was from just 2 months prior. The angle, grainy and shaky, screamed hidden camera. Fans scrutinized the video frame by frame. "That's Kirk's chain. I'd know it anywhere," one wrote. "Look at the way he leaning in. That ain't no business meeting." Another added, The clip sent shockwaves because it confirmed what everyone feared. This wasn't just emotional cheating through words. This was physical, tangible betrayal. The fallout was immediate. Rasheeda's fans went into overdrive, flooding her page with encouragement, telling her to leave now and choose yourself. Kirk's defenders, though fewer, insisted the footage could be old, or even doctored, but the damage was done. The visual, paired with the vows, the note, and the audio, painted a picture too detailed to dismiss. Kirk had stepped out, about Kirk as a father, or Jasmine as the so-called real Mrs. Frost. Either way, it was clear the children weren't blind to the chaos. Even little Carter, though shielded from the media, was caught on camera clinging tightly to Rasheeda's hand during a family outing, his eyes wide with confusion. Fans' hearts broke at the sight, reminding everyone that this wasn't just drama for entertainment, it was tearing at a real family. And still, Kirk tried to spin. He scheduled his own live session, sitting alone in his office, looking weary but defensive. "Y'all don't know the whole story," he began. "Yeah, I made mistakes. I ain't perfect. But don't believe every little thing y'all see online. Some of this is fake. Some of it is twisted to make me look worse. I love my wife. I love my family, and I'm fighting for them." His words might have swayed some, but the comments told another story. "Where's the lie detector?" One viewer wrote. "Boy, we heard you in that audio." Another scoffed. The live ended abruptly after fans began spamming snake emojis, leaving Kirk looking more defeated than ever. But Jasmine wasn't done. Hours later, she dropped a post that blew the lid off everything, a close-up shot of a gold band on her finger. With the caption, "Patience rewarded." The picture was cropped to avoid showing too much, but fans zoomed in, analyzed, and debated endlessly. Was it a promise ring? An engagement ring? Or God forbid was Kirk already planning the wedding he vowed in his secret letters? The frenzy was unstoppable. Blogs called it the post that broke Atlanta. Fans were in disbelief, critics tore Jasmine apart, and Rasheeda's silence grew louder than ever. What came next would be the most explosive confrontation yet, because Rasheeda, pushed to her limit, finally agreed to face Jasmine directly. The tension in Atlanta reached a fever pitch when whispers turned into confirmations. Rasheeda had agreed to meet Jasmine face to face. It wasn't staged for the cameras. It wasn't a leaked DM argument. This was a real confrontation that insiders said went down in a private lounge, away from the main strip but close enough that word spread like wildfire within the hour. Everyone wanted to know what would Rasheeda say to the woman who had taunted her marriage, flaunted her patience, and now wore a mysterious gold band that might have been Kirk's doing. When Rasheeda arrived, she was dressed sharp, her hair pulled back tight, her eyes hidden behind dark shades. She didn't come alone. Ms. Shirlene was by her side, protective as ever, walking in like she owned the room. Jasmine was already seated at a small table, glass of wine in hand, smirking with the confidence of someone who knew the world was watching her every move. She leaned back casually, as if daring Rasheeda to break first. Witnesses said the energy was electric, the kind of tension that could make even a quiet cough sound like an explosion. The first words came from Rasheeda, her voice calm but sharp. "You really proud of this? You proud of being somebody's destruction?" Jasmine, unfazed, tilted her head and replied, "Destruction, or truth? Maybe I'm just the truth he's been hiding from you all along." Ms. Shirlene slammed her palm on the table so hard the glasses rattled. "Girl, don't you get slick. You sitting here bragging about tearing apart a family. You think that makes you special? You ain't nothing but a moment." But Jasmine didn't flinch. She leaned forward, her voice low but cutting. "If I'm just a moment, then why he writing vows to me? Why he promising me forever?" That line hit like a bomb. Rasheeda's jaw clenched, her hands shaking slightly as she tried to keep her composure. "You think vows mean love? You think sneaking around and posting cryptic nonsense makes you the one? No, baby. You're just the easy way out, the thrill he runs to when he's too weak to handle a real woman." Jasmine's eyes flashed, her smirk fading into anger. A real woman. A real woman don't stay with a man after the first 10 times he embarrassed her. A real woman don't let her husband make her look like a fool on national TV. You call that strength? I call it desperation. The words sliced through the room. Even Ms. Shirlene seemed momentarily stunned, her mouth dropping open at Jasmine's audacity. But before Rasheeda could respond, her phone buzzed on the table. Fans would later speculate endlessly about what was on that screen, because the moment she glanced at it, Her entire demeanor shifted. She stood up, towering over Jasmine, and whispered, "This ends tonight." With that, she walked out, leaving Shirlene fuming behind her. Jasmine smirked again, swirling her wine, but the mask slipped for a moment. For the first time, she looked rattled. Hours later, the internet found out why Rasheeda had left so abruptly. Someone leaked photos of Kirk sitting alone in a car outside the same lounge. His face buried in his hands, looking like a man who had lost control of everything. The images went viral instantly, memes flying within minutes. "Kirk the clown," one read. Another captioned his photo with, "When you write vows to the wrong one." The ridicule was brutal, but the sympathy was scarce. Most fans sided with Rasheeda, applauding her composure and dragging Kirk for his endless mess. But then came another twist, this time from Jasmine herself. Later that night, she went live on Instagram, clearly shaken but trying to hold her composure. "I didn't plan for any of this," she said, her voice cracking slightly. "I didn't ask him to write those vows. He did that on his own. And if he wanted to be with me, it's because he wasn't getting what he needed at home. Y'all can hate me all you want, but I didn't force his pen. I didn't force his heart." Her comments section exploded with both support and hate, but the most shocking part came when she held up her hand again, flashing the gold band. "This isn't just a ring, it's a promise. Y'all can spin it however you want, but I know what I got." She ended the live abruptly, tears in her eyes, leaving fans stunned. Was Jasmine breaking under pressure, or was she finally telling the truth? The fallout wasn't just online anymore. Producers at Love and Hip Hop Atlanta reportedly called emergency meetings, debating whether to address the scandal in the next season or keep it off camera. But cast members weren't waiting for contracts, they were already spilling tea, in interviews and cryptic posts. Carly Red allegedly told a close friend, "If they don't air this, it'll leak anyway. The streets already know." And she was right. Every corner of Atlanta was buzzing, from barbershops to boutiques. People couldn't talk about anything else. Kirk Frost had managed to turn his marriage into the most chaotic reality storyline of the year, without even trying. Meanwhile, Rasheeda made her next move. She posted a picture, not of herself, not of her boutique, but of her children. The caption was simple, "My reason, always." Fans flooded her comments with love and support, interpreting the post as her declaring loyalty to her kids above all else. Many saw it as a sign that she was ready to let go of Kirk once and for all. "Choose your kids, not the clown," one fan wrote. "You deserve peace, Queen," another added. The narrative shifted again. This wasn't just about marriage anymore. It was about legacy, about protecting the next generation from the chaos of their father's choices. And yet, Kirk wasn't ready to bow out. In a desperate attempt to salvage his image, he dropped a lengthy Instagram note. Black background with white text, the kind celebrities use when they're trying to explain. In it, he denied cheating, denied promising Jasmine a wedding, and called the vows creative writing taken out of context. He wrote, "My heart is with my wife. Always has been, always will be. Don't let the noise fool you." But fans weren't buying it. The comments were merciless. "You mean always has been, except when you're writing vows to side chicks." One wrote, "Boy, shut up." Another added, "The damage was irreversible." What made it worse was that hours after Kirk's statement, Jasmine posted a selfie with the caption, "Noise doesn't write love letters." The shade was undeniable, and fans immediately connected the dots. Every attempt Kirk made to clean up the mess only seemed to give Jasmine more ammunition. Rasheeda, for her part, stayed silent, letting the two of them destroy each other while she maintained her dignity. But silence wasn't peace. Behind closed doors, insiders claimed Rasheeda had reached her breaking point. She was spotted meeting with a high-profile divorce attorney downtown, and though nothing was confirmed, the sight alone sent fans into a frenzy. The possibility of the Frost Empire crumbling wasn't just entertainment anymore, it was history in the making. Blogs ran with headlines like, "Rasheeda finally done," and "The end of Frost Enterprises." The stakes were higher than ever. And then, just when fans thought they had seen the worst of it, another leak surfaced, this time, an alleged video of Kirk practicing his vows. The clip, grainy but clear enough, showed him in a hotel room, reading from a sheet of paper with Jasmine's name on it. His voice was shaky, almost emotional, as he recited lines about building a new future and laying down old burdens. The video spread like wildfire, and the caption attached to the leak read simply, "Receipts, don't lie." The leaked video of Kirk rehearsing his vows was the breaking point. The internet didn't just react, it erupted. Blogs, fan pages, gossip channels, and even mainstream outlets replayed the clip on loop. Kirk sat slouched on the edge of a hotel bed, paper in hand, his voice trembling as he read, "Jasmine, with you I see a freedom I've never known, a love I can't deny, a forever I've been too scared to claim." His delivery was raw, unpolished, emotional in a way fans had rarely seen. He wasn't performing for cameras. He wasn't spinning a story. He was confessing. And that authenticity made it all the more damning. The hashtags were immediate. Hashtag, Kirk exposed. Hashtag, Vowsgate. Hashtag, Jasmine forever. Some fans claimed it was the final nail in his marriage, while others, more cynical, joked that this was just Kirk's latest scheme to stay relevant. But for Rasheeda, this wasn't a punchline, it was humiliation in real time. Sources close to her said she watched the video in silence, tears streaming down her face. She didn't scream, didn't break anything, didn't call Kirk's name. She just sat there, broken, until Ms. Shirlene stormed into the room, demanding to know what Rasheeda planned to do. "Baby, you cannot let him drag you like this no more," her mother cried. "He out here practicing wedding vows for another woman. Practicing." Meanwhile, Kirk went into hiding. Paparazzi spotted his car parked outside a friend's condo, but he refused to answer any calls, texts, or knocks on the door. His silence only made him look guiltier. Fans filled his last Instagram post with snake emojis and broken hearts, demanding answers. But Kirk stayed offline, leaving Jasmine to carry the torch. And she did with reckless pride. Hours after the video leak, Jasmine posted a cryptic quote, "Practice makes perfect." No name, no context, but everyone knew. The audacity sent Rasheeda's fans into overdrive. They flooded Jasmine's page with venom, calling her a homewrecker, a clown, a fool who would never replace the original. But Jasmine responded with another bold statement on Live, "You can call me what you want. But ask yourself, why wasn't he rehearsing for her?" The fan divide grew uglier. On one side were the die-hard Rasheeda loyalists, furious that Jasmine would dare taunt a wife who had endured decades of betrayal. On the other side were the Jasmine defenders, who argued that Rasheeda had chosen to stay too long and that Kirk's actions proved he was in love with Jasmine all along. Twitter threads raged with debates. "This ain't about Jasmine, it's about Kirk being trash," one wrote. Another countered, "If he wasn't happy, he should have left." Rasheeda trapped herself in misery. The discourse turned into a cultural debate about marriage, loyalty, and when enough is enough. Inside the Frost household, the situation was chaos. Their son Carter allegedly asked his mother why people at school were whispering about his dad. The innocence of the question cut Rasheeda deeper than any gossip blog ever could. She reportedly pulled him close and whispered, "None of this is your fault, baby. Don't you ever think it is?" But even as she comforted her child, her mind was spinning. Kirk hadn't just hurt her. He had hurt their family's name, their children's peace, and her brand. Pressed, her boutique had become a target too. Customers reportedly filmed themselves inside, mocking Kirk, turning what was once her safe space into another arena for jokes and commentary. The cast of Love and Hip Hop, Atlanta continued to pile on. Carly Red finally broke her silence in an interview, smirking as she said, "Listen, I love Rasheeda. But I told her, years ago, you keep letting a man clown you, one day the circus gon' come to town. And here we are." Spice doubled down on her earlier comments, while Young Jock took things even further, playing the leaked vow video on his radio show and adding dramatic sound effects. "This man really out here sounding like he auditioning for a Tyler Perry movie," Jock laughed. Fans howled, but the laughter only deepened Rasheeda's humiliation. What shocked everyone, though, was Ms. Shirlene's next move. Instead of just ranting online, she called into Jock's show herself. Her voice was steady but loaded with fire. "I ain't laughing," she said. "This is my daughter's life. Y'all think it's entertainment, but this is pain. And if that man got 1 ounce of respect left, he'll sign the papers and set her free." The studio fell silent. Even Jock, who had been cracking jokes seconds earlier, stumbled over his words. Yes ma'am. You right. Fans clipped the audio immediately, calling it one of the most iconic moments in LHHATL history. Jasmine, however, seemed determined to play her role as the villain or the victor, depending on perspective. She doubled down, posting a selfie with the caption, "When the family mad, but the vows were for me." The photo showed her glowing, makeup flawless, the infamous gold band sparkling under the light. Fans went insane. Was Kirk still in contact with her even as the world burned around him? Was she just trolling, or was she wearing the proof of his betrayal proudly for all to see? The speculation was endless, and every answer seemed worse than the last. Then came the twist nobody anticipated. Leaked text messages allegedly between Kirk and Jasmine. Screenshots circulated online showing Kirk begging Jasmine to lay low, promising her that once this blows over, it'll be our time. Another message read, "I just need you to trust me. You know where my heart is." Jasmine's replies were equally damning. "I've waited this long, but I'm tired of waiting in the shadows." Fans dissected every word, every emoji, every typo, trying to authenticate the texts. While some swore they were doctored, others pointed out the timestamps aligned perfectly with nights Kirk had been mysteriously missing. The fallout reached Rasheeda directly. She was photographed leaving a lawyer's office again, this time without her ring. The image spread like wildfire, sparking rumors that she was officially preparing divorce papers. Fans cheered her on. Finally, one comment read, "She deserves peace." Others, however, doubted she'd follow through. "She'll forgive him again. Watch," one skeptic tweeted, earning thousands of likes. The public had seen this cycle before, but the stakes had never been this high. Kirk, perhaps realizing his empire was crumbling, finally resurfaced with a video of his own. Sitting in a car, face unshaven, voice heavy, he said, "I messed up. I ain't gone lie. I messed up bad. But I love my wife, and I don't want to lose my family. Y'all can think what you want, but my marriage means more to me than any mistakes I made." His attempt at vulnerability might have worked years ago, but now it fell flat. Fans flooded the comments, mocking him. This man practicing vows for Jasmine but begging Rasheeda online. One wrote, "Pick a side, Kirk." Another added, "The damage was irreversible." Still, Jasmine wasn't done. Hours after Kirk's apology video, she dropped her own bomb. A blurry but unmistakable photo of her holding hands with a man who looked eerily like Kirk. The caption read, "Words match actions." Though the face wasn't fully visible, the tattoos on the hand matched Kirk's exactly. Fans went feral. This man apologizing to Rasheeda while booed up with Jasmine. One screamed. Memes flew. Headlines exploded, and the Frost scandal officially turned into a national obsession. And just when it felt like the storm couldn't get any worse, rumors surfaced that Rasheeda wasn't just considering divorce, she was planning a public sit-down interview to break her silence once and for all. The whispers about Rasheeda doing a sit-down interview weren't just chatter, they turned into concrete proof when paparazzi captured her walking into a midtown Atlanta studio, flanked by her mother and a small entourage. She wore a cream-colored suit, elegant and polished, no ring on her finger. Her hair was slicked back, makeup subtle but flawless. It wasn't just an interview, it was a statement. For years she had stayed quiet while Kirk's scandals played, out in the streets, letting the world talk for her. But this time, she was taking control of the narrative. The air online was electric. Blogs teased it with headlines like, "Rasheeda finally speaks, and the Queen breaks her silence." Hashtags trended, hashtag RASHEEDA speaks, hashtag Frost Fallout, and even hashtag Team RASHEEDA dominated timelines. Fans booked their seats online like it was the Super Bowl. Inside the studio, cameras rolled, lights dimmed, and the interviewer leaned forward, asking the first question that everyone wanted answered. "Rasheeda, what's your truth right now?" There was a pause so long that it felt like time stopped. Rasheeda took a breath, folded her hands in her lap, and began. My truth is that I'm tired. Tired of being embarrassed, tired of being made the fool, tired of standing by someone who don't stand by me. Y'all saw the vows, y'all saw the video, y'all heard the audio. What more proof do I need that my marriage is over?" The studio fell silent except for the faint hum of the lights. Fans watching from home exploded online. "She finally said it." One fan tweeted. "I've been waiting 10 years to hear Rasheeda say those words." Others broke down, writing, "I can't believe it's really the end." In that moment, Rasheeda's calm delivery made more noise than Kirk's decades of drama ever could. But the interview didn't stop there. The host pressed her about Jasmine directly. "Do you blame Jasmine for all of this?" Rasheeda tilted her head slightly, her eyes narrowing. "I don't give her that much power. Kirk was my husband. He made vows to me, not her. If he went out and wrote vows to somebody else, that's on him. She can wear rings, post captions, drop hints all day. But the truth, Is she was never my problem. My problem was the man in my house lying to me every day. Fans went wild. Memes popped up instantly. Rasheeda with sunglasses captioned, "The real MVP." Supporters called it her boss moment. Even those who had once doubted her strength applauded her for finally turning the tables. Meanwhile, Kirk sat at home watching the interview in silence, reportedly with his phone blowing up nonstop. Insiders claimed he looked pale, drained, and muttered repeatedly, "She really did it. She really went on TV." For a man used to spinning narratives, seeing Rasheeda own hers without him was a punch to the gut. He tried calling her phone during commercial breaks, but she didn't answer. Sources say Ms. Shirlene blocked his number on Rasheeda's behalf, snatching the phone out of her daughter's hand and saying, "He had his turn to talk. Now let the world hear you." But Jasmine wasn't about to sit back quietly either. Within minutes of Rasheeda's interview airing, Jasmine jumped on Instagram Live. Her face partially lit, eyes darting nervously. She started with a shaky voice. "Y'all acting like I'm the villain. But let me tell you something, Kirk came to me. He came to me broken, lost, begging for a chance to feel alive again. I didn't chase him, he chased me." The comments lit up with angry emojis, fans screaming at her through their screens. "Girl, bye," one wrote. Another shouted, "You proud of being the side piece?" But Jasmine, emboldened, held up her hand again, flashing that ring. "You call me a side piece, but this don't look like a side piece to me. This look like forever." Her words turned the internet into chaos. Supporters of Rasheeda called her delusional, while Jasmine's defenders claimed she was simply exposing the truth Rasheeda couldn't face. What made things worse was a bombshell that dropped mid-interview. The host read out a newly leaked message exchange that none of the audience had seen before. The texts appeared to be between Kirk and Jasmine, but this time they weren't whispers of promises, they were Kirk explicitly writing, "The vows weren't just words. You know I meant them. One day we'll stand together, no secrets, just you and me." The audience gasped audibly, and Rasheeda's face tightened, though she didn't flinch. She looked directly into the camera and said, "If those words are his truth, then my truth is, I'm done." It was the kind of line that sealed history. Fans clipped it, replayed it, and turned it into viral soundbites within minutes. The fallout for Kirk was immediate and brutal. His businesses began to take hits. A popular restaurant he owned was flooded with negative reviews overnight. People showed up outside, chanting justice for Rasheeda, as though it were a protest. Memes of Kirk's face photoshopped onto clowns circulated like wildfire. His reputation, already fragile, was collapsing under the weight of Rasheeda's measured but devastating honesty. Yet Kirk wasn't ready to give up. Hours after the interview, he released another video, this time sitting in front of a plain white wall, his voice shaky, his eyes red. "I don't know what else to say. I love my wife. I love my family. Yes, I made mistakes. Yes, I hurt her, but I don't want to lose her." Jasmine don't mean nothing compared to Rasheeda. She never did. The desperation in his tone was unmistakable, but fans didn't buy it. The comments were merciless. "So the vows, the ring, the video, the audio, the texts all mean nothing. Boy, please," one wrote. Another sneered, "You only sorry 'cause she finally walked away." Jasmine, on the other hand, was livid. She posted a series of Instagram stories blasting Kirk for trying to downplay their connection. "You don't write vows for someone who don't mean nothing. You don't promise rings and futures to someone who don't matter. Stop lying to the world and to yourself, Kirk. You know where your heart is." Her tone was bitter, but it also revealed something fans hadn't seen before: cracks in her confidence. For the first time, Jasmine looked more like a woman scorned than a mistress flaunting her prize. The fandom turned savage. Hashtags like #RASHEEDA wins and #DumpKirk surged. But a smaller, louder faction pushed #Justice for Jasmine, arguing she had been manipulated by a man who dangled promises he never intended to keep. The debate spilled onto daytime talk shows, radio segments, and even late-night comedy routines. The Frost scandal wasn't just a reality TV subplot anymore, it was mainstream cultural drama. Meanwhile, Rasheeda's brand soared. Her boutique sales reportedly spiked after the interview, with fans saying they wanted to support her independence. Memes of her calm face during the sit-down interview flooded timelines with captions like, "When you know your worth, you don't argue with clowns." Even celebrities outside the love and hip-hop world weighed in. Cardi B liked several pro-Rasheeda posts. Tamar Braxton tweeted, A queen knows when to let go. Proud of you, sis. The public was rallying behind her like never before. But behind closed doors, the situation remained deeply complicated. Insiders whispered that Rasheeda was still torn, not because she wanted Kirk, but because of the empire they had built together, their businesses, their home, their children, all tied up in one messy knot. Divorce wasn't just emotional, it was financial. It was logistical. It was years of untangling. And Kirk, desperate to cling to whatever remained, allegedly begged her not to file. "We can fix this. Please, don't end us like this," he reportedly told her one night, tears streaming down his face. But Rasheeda's response was cold and final. "You ended us when you picked her." And still, the drama wasn't done. A final leak dropped just days after Rasheeda's interviewing an alleged clip of Jasmine crying on a phone call with a friend saying, "He promised me forever, but now he's backpedaling. I feel like a fool." What was all this for? The audio spread instantly, and fans rejoiced. To them, it was proof that Jasmine wasn't the victor she portrayed herself to be. She was another casualty of Kirk's chaos. The narrative shifted yet again, painting Kirk as the ultimate manipulator, Rasheeda as the survivor, and Jasmine as the collateral damage. The city buzzed, the fans speculated, and the Frost legacy hung by a thread. And with Rasheeda's sit-down interview behind her, one question lingered in the air, louder than any other. Would she follow her words with action and finally cut Kirk loose once and for all? The leaked audio of Jasmine's tearful phone call shifted the energy overnight. For weeks, she had played the role of the bold other woman, the woman holding Kirk's whispered promises and gold-ring proof of his love. But hearing her voice crack, hearing her say she felt like a fool, flipped the script in a way nobody expected. Suddenly, Jasmine wasn't the smirking villain sipping champagne on Instagram Live. She was the young woman crying into a phone, realizing the man she thought chose her was still tangled up in the very marriage she believed he'd leave behind. Fans couldn't get enough of the irony. Memes captioned her audio with lines like, "When the side chick realizes she's not the main dish," and "Patience expired." It was cruel, but it was also vindication for Rasheeda's supporters who had been begging her to walk away all along. Rasheeda, however, wasn't basking in any vindication. Behind the walls of her home, she was quiet, reflective, moving with the grace of someone who had already made up her mind. Close friends revealed she had started journaling daily, writing out her feelings instead of letting them explode in heated arguments. One entry, allegedly shared by a confidant, read, "I gave him every chance to change. But sometimes, love is not enough. I deserve peace. My kids deserve peace. Maybe this storm was meant to finally push me into the light." Fans saw this and began to rally around her even harder, calling her the definition of resilience. Meanwhile, Kirk's world shrank smaller by the day. Business partners pulled back, endorsements dried up, and even some of his own family stopped answering his calls. His son, Kelsey, went on Twitter again, posting another cryptic line, "A father is supposed to lead, not mislead." The sting of that one sentence echoed across blogs and made headlines of its own. Kirk tried to dismiss it, claiming it wasn't about him, but the timing was too perfect. Everyone knew. Jasmine, humiliated by the leak, tried to regain footing. She posted a lengthy caption under a picture of herself in workout gear, claiming she had been misled, manipulated, and painted unfairly. "I didn't ask for this life. I didn't ask to be dragged into their marriage. Kirk promised me things he couldn't deliver, and now I'm the one left to carry the hate. I'm human. I have feelings too. I loved him because he made me believe there was something real. Y'all don't know the whole story." The post gained sympathy from some, but most fans weren't buying it. "Girl, you knew he was married. Stop playing victim now," one comment read with 10,000 likes. Still, others softened toward her, recognizing that Kirk's manipulation ran deeper than anyone realized. The climax of the scandal came when VH1 producers decided enough was enough. They couldn't keep this off the show. The cameras rolled for a private sit-down between Rasheeda and Kirk, raw and unfiltered. This wasn't stage drama anymore. This was decades of history boiling over. The scene was filmed in a dimly lit studio, the two sitting across from one another at a small table. No distractions. Rasheeda didn't even look at him at first. Kirk's voice trembled as he began. "I know I messed up. I can't take it back, but I want to fix it. I don't want to lose us." Rasheeda let him finish, her silence louder than his words. Then she leaned forward, eyes blazing. "Fix it? How do you fix vows written to another woman? How do you Fix videos of you practicing promises you never gave me. How do you fix 20 years of disrespect? You don't fix that, Kirk. You walk away from it. The studio air grew heavy. Kirk wiped his eyes, breaking down in a way fans had rarely seen. You were my everything, and I kept messing it up. I don't even know why I do the things I do. But I can't lose you. Rasheeda shook her head. You already lost me. You just don't want to admit it yet. The clip leaked early, days before the episode aired, and the internet went wild. Fans hailed it as Rasheeda's most powerful moment on the show. Tweets poured in. This is the closure we needed. She finally said it. Kirk crying. Now, but he wasn't crying when he was writing vows to Jasmine. For Jasmine, the leaked scene was devastating. Watching Kirk beg for his marriage after months of promising her forever sent her into a spiral. She went live once again, this time drunk. Her words slurred but her emotions raw. So that's it. He's crying for her now. After everything he told me. After all the nights, the promises, the damn vows. He played me. He played both of us. The live cut off abruptly after she threw her phone down, but the damage was done. Fans clipped it, mocked it, and spread it across every platform. Even her defenders struggled to spin it now. The narrative was clear. Kirk Frost had manipulated two women into misery, and both of them were finally breaking free. But Kirk wasn't ready to fade into the background. Days later, in a desperate bid to control the story, he scheduled a press conference outside one of his businesses. Wearing a black hoodie and baseball cap, he stood in front of flashing cameras, insisting, I love my wife. I never stopped loving her. All of this got blown out of proportion. Me and Jasmine, there was nothing real there. Y'all making it more than it was. The problem, as he spoke, someone in the crowd shouted, then what about the vows? Another yelled, what about the video? Kirk froze, stammered, and ended the conference early. The clip of him walking away in silence went viral, cementing his image as a man who had finally run out of lies. Meanwhile, Rasheeda was blossoming. She launched a new line at Pressed, branding it around independence and strength. The tagline, Peace over Chaos. Fans flooded the store, buying out pieces just to show solidarity. Interviews praised her as a role model for women stuck in toxic cycles. Even national outlets like Essence and The Shade Room ran glowing features about her resilience. For the first time in years, Rasheeda wasn't defined by Kirk's scandals, she was defined by her survival. The final crack in the Frost family legacy came when Jasmine, perhaps realizing the depth of her humiliation, finally turned on Kirk. In an interview of her own, she confessed, yes, the vows were real. Yes, the ring was real. And yes, he told me over and over he'd leave her. But he didn't. He never planned to. He just wanted both of us. And I'm done. Fans gasped. It was the confirmation everyone had been waiting for. Kirk Frost wasn't just sloppy, he was calculated. He had strung two women along, feeding them promises he never intended to keep. And now the receipts were undeniable. The confession sent fans into overdrive. The Frost scandal wasn't just a storyline anymore, it became a cautionary tale. Talk shows dissected it. Podcasts debated it. Relationship experts weighed in on whether Rasheeda should cut ties forever. Social media declared Jasmine's confession the final nail in Kirk's coffin. The man who once boasted of being a businessman, husband, and father had been reduced to the punchline of his own lies. Yet even with Jasmine turning her back, Kirk clung to hope. He reportedly showed up at Rasheeda's doorstep late one night, flowers in hand, begging for a private conversation. Neighbors claimed they heard shouting, then silence, then the door slamming shut. Rasheeda never let him in. The next morning, she posted a single photo on Instagram, her hand ringless, resting on top of her journal. The caption read, sometimes, the strongest thing you can do is let go. The picture broke the internet. It was shared millions of times, turned into merch by fans, and celebrated as the final declaration that Rasheeda had chosen herself. Blogs declared, it's over. Fans flooded her comments with congratulations, empowerment quotes, and promises to support her no matter what. And in that moment, Kirk Frost's reign of chaos truly ended, not because he wanted it to, but because Rasheeda finally said enough. The fallout lingered for weeks. Jasmine went quiet, retreating from social media after her emotional breakdowns. Kirk faded into the background, rarely posting, avoiding the public eye. But Rasheeda, she thrived. She announced a collaboration with a major brand, hosted empowerment events for women, and even teased new music. Fans hailed it as the rebirth of a queen. The Frost scandal, messy and painful, ended not with Kirk's apology or Jasmine's confession, but with Rasheeda's choice to reclaim her life. And though the internet debated every twist and turn, one truth remained clear. The vows Kirk wrote for Jasmine may have leaked, but Rasheeda wrote her own vows to herself, and this time, she was finally ready to keep them. The days following, Rasheeda's ringless handpost felt like the calm after a hurricane. But it wasn't peace, it was the eerie quiet where everyone waits for the next storm. Atlanta buzzed with whispers. Bloggers speculated endlessly. Was the divorce already filed? Was Jasmine truly out of the picture, or plotting her return? And where exactly was Kirk? His silence, once seen as guilt, now turned into absence. Paparazzi couldn't find him, friends claimed he wasn't answering calls, and rumors swirled that he had skipped town to avoid the humiliation. But the quiet didn't last long. A gossip blog posted photos of Kirk at an airport, wearing a hoodie and baseball cap, boarding a flight to Miami. The headline read, "Kirk runs away from drama while Rasheeda builds her empire." Fans tore him apart in the comments. "Running from responsibility," one wrote. Another mocked him, "He can't even rehearse his vows right, but he running for flights." The ridicule was merciless. Yet what shocked fans more was the claim that he wasn't alone. An eyewitness swore they saw Jasmine boarding the same flight, trying to keep low in oversized sunglasses. That rumor exploded like gasoline on a fire. If true, it meant that after everything, after the interview, the vows, the leaked texts, the crying phone call, Kirk was still sneaking around with Jasmine. Screenshots of flight logs circulated, blurry photos of passengers were picked apart frame by frame, and hashtags like #MiamiMess and #VowsVacation began trending. For Rasheeda's supporters, it was betrayal layered on betrayal. He really went back to her. One fan screamed online, "Rasheeda, girl, divorce him today." Inside Atlanta, Rasheeda remained unbothered publicly. She hosted a women's empowerment brunch, smiling in photos with fans, wearing a tailored white dress that screamed new beginnings. The event was packed, with lines stretching around the block, women eager to stand in solidarity with her. Videos showed her speaking confidently on stage. "Ladies, let me tell you something, your peace is worth more than any ring, any vow, any man who don't know your value." The room erupted in applause, women rising to their feet, tears in their eyes. Clips of her speech went viral, shared under the hashtag peace over chaos, reinforcing her new brand as not just a reality star but a symbol of resilience. But even as she soared, the chaos grew elsewhere. Jasmine, perhaps emboldened by the Miami rumors, returned to social media with a bang. She posted a photo lounging poolside in a neon bikini, captioned, "Patience pays twice." Fans lost their minds. Is Kirk with her? Is this a soft launch of their relationship, or is she just trolling? The comments were split, but the timing, just as Kirk was spotted at the airport, was too perfect. The gossip blogs ran wild, spinning it as proof the two were back together. Kirk, meanwhile, couldn't hide forever. Paparazzi eventually caught him in Miami, entering a luxury hotel. The photos showed him looking tense, phone pressed to his ear, a baseball cap pulled low. The internet zoomed in on the reflection of a woman in the hotel lobby, glass dark hair, slim figure, bearing a striking resemblance to Jasmine. Whether coincidence or not, the damage was done. The narrative solidified, Kirk had chosen Jasmine, and Rasheeda was done. That's when Rasheeda's next move shocked everyone. She was spotted at a dinner anymore. She hung up, leaving Kirk seething. Friends say he smashed a glass against the wall of his Miami hotel room, pacing like a man watching his empire slip through his fingers. Jasmine, on the other hand, played coy. She went live again, sipping champagne by the pool, saying, "It's funny how some people can move on quick, but when I move on, I'm the problem." Fans immediately interpreted it as shade toward Rasheeda. But the irony wasn't lost. Jasmine was shading the wife for moving on, while she herself had built her identity around waiting for Kirk. The comments dragged her mercilessly. "Girl, she's free now. You still stuck waiting on a man who won't leave his marriage papers." But then, another twist landed like a bomb. Leaked receipts allegedly showing Kirk had booked a wedding venue in Miami under his assistant's name. The documents, blurry but legible enough, listed a deposit for a beachfront ceremony, scheduled months down the line. Fans gasped. Is he really about to marry Jasmine? Is this what the vows were building up to? Or is this another fake out? The blogs couldn't get enough. Theories spread that Kirk had been planning a double life all along. preparing to keep Rasheeda tied up in legal limbo while building a future with Jasmine on the side. Rasheeda's camp quickly responded, denying any knowledge of the booking and brushing it off as another manipulation. But the receipts had already fueled the fire. Fans argued, endlessly, some insisting Kirk and Jasmine's wedding was inevitable, others claiming it was staged or fake. The frenzy reached such heights that even late-night comedians joked about it. "Kirk Frost out here booking weddings like it's a Groupon deal," one host quipped, drawing roars of laughter from the audience. Yet the darkest twist was still to come. A gossip site dropped an exclusive claiming Jasmine might be pregnant again. The article cited close friends, who said she had been avoiding alcohol at parties and wearing looser clothing than usual. The headline screamed, "Baby no." 2. Jasmine's secret could blow up the Frost family forever. Fans went into overdrive. Some prayed it was false, others clung to the possibility as the next chapter in the chaos. Memes of Kirk surrounded by baby bottles flooded timelines, while others mourned for Rasheeda, saying, "This woman can never catch a break." Rasheeda, though, didn't flinch. She posted another cryptic message. "When you finally choose yourself, the noise doesn't touch you." Fans applauded her composure, but insiders whispered that behind closed doors, she was livid. Not because of Jasmine, but because of Kirk's endless lies. She reportedly told friends, "If that baby rumor is true, I'll bury him in court." The drama had become more than gossip. It was now a cultural obsession, a scandal so layered that fans couldn't tell where reality ended and rumor began. Kirk Frost's name trended daily, not for music or business, but for betrayal, broken vows, and chaos. Jasmine's reputation oscillated between villain and victim, and Rasheeda, standing tall in the storm, became the hero of a story that no one could stop watching. The cliffhanger was undeniable. Was Kirk really planning a Miami wedding with Jasmine? Was Jasmine truly carrying his child? And most of all, would Rasheeda finally sign those divorce papers and make her break official? So now you've seen it all unfold, piece by piece. From Kirk's leaked vows that set the internet on fire, to Jasmine flashing her ring, to Rasheeda's mother tearing into him live, and finally, to Rasheeda herself standing tall, ringless, declaring that her peace is worth more than any broken promise. The Frost family drama has spiraled into something no one could have predicted. Fans are shocked, emotions ran high, and the family was left divided. Think about it. Kirk rehearsed vows not for the woman he built an empire with, but for Jasmine. He wrote her promises he never gave his wife, risked his children's peace, and let the whole world watch the fallout. Jasmine played her part, flaunting what she thought was forever, only to be left in tears when reality showed she was just another piece in Kirk's endless cycle of chaos. And Rasheeda, she became the quiet storm, the woman who didn't need to scream or throw shade. Her silence, her calm, and finally her truth. In that interview, those were the moments that broke the internet. But the questions don't stop here. Were those Miami wedding receipts real? Was Jasmine really pregnant again? Or was it just another rumor spinning out of control? Will Kirk make one last desperate attempt to win back his wife? Or has Rasheeda closed that chapter for good? And maybe the biggest question of all, will Jasmine ever truly let go? Or is she still waiting for the man who kept her waiting in the shadows all these years? This is where you come in. I want to hear from you. Do you think Rasheeda should finally file for divorce and cut Kirk loose once and for all? Or is there still a part of you that believes he can change? Do you think Jasmine was a victim of Kirk's lies, or was she just playing the game and lost? And what about Ms. Sherlyn? Did she say what all of us were thinking when she told Kirk to pack his bags and go? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Don't just scroll past. This is your chance to weigh in on the most explosive reality scandal of the year. Your voice matters, and trust me, the debate in that comment section is going to be just as messy as the drama itself. And if you want to stay locked in with every twist, every leak, and every emotional explosion, you already know what to do. Hit that like button so more people can join in on the conversation. Smash subscribe so you never miss the next chapter of this saga. Because if there's one thing we've learned about Kirk Frost, Rasheeda, and Jasmine, it's that the drama never really ends. And don't forget to turn on notifications, because when the next bombshell drops, you'll want to be the first to hear it. The vows leaked, the family divided, the city's talking, and now it's your turn.